Talking Podcast Season 3 premiere. I am JJ Starr.
And I'm Downtown Andy.
Welcome, welcome. We are here to talk and bring some civil discourse to an otherwise discordant world.
Highlight on the civil.
Civil indeed. We. Not the royal we. Specifically you and I. You and I. For anyone who is new to the show, all right, we have a tendency to be very civil to one another.
Not to anybody else.
We're not very civil to other people because other people have a tendency
to suck.
A tendency to stink. Yeah. They tend to suck a little bit.
No, we're civil.
No, we're JK.
That's not what facetious means, is it?
Facetious?
Yeah.
Facetious is sort of like sarcastic light. It's like diet sarcasm.
Gotcha.
All right. But we are here to talk for a third season. We're back.
Well, you and I are always here to talk.
We're always here to talk, and now we bring it to the world. The world stage.
The world at large.
The world at large.
The world that downloads this podcast in how many countries?
101.
How many continents?
6.
How many states?
43. Get your shit together, Vermont. Seriously.
Didn't we go there to buy apple pumpkin?
Before we started this podcast, yes. I don't think we've been there. No, we went there. We went there
on the way back from Lake George.
Well, shit. We should have been listening to the podcast at that point.
We should have handed out flyers.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh,
they broke all the rules.
Yeah.
But you know what? Speaking of the rules, okay, so for our listeners, you and I have an agreement about this episode.
Yes, we do.
As much as I want to be Ozzy Osbourne and break all the rules,
I know.
I'm not going to. But for those who don't know what those rules are,
we have 3 of them here in the bubble, what we like to call the bubble here, again, for anyone who's new. And those rules are no judgment, nothing personal, and don't be a dick. Don't be a dick, a douchebag, or a prick.
Or a cocksucker.
Or a cocksucker, or a motherfucker for anyone out there who may, in fact, be...
Say what again?
A motherfucker. What do you want to talk about? Episode 101. This is podcast 101 now.
You make it sound like a college course.
Well, maybe it should be. Maybe this episode, right here, at the beginning of season 3, year 3 here in the bubble, maybe this should be Civility 101.
You know... So I was listening to some old episodes today, and back in the day, when we were recording in bed,
2 years ago,
you and I used to go fairly, a lengthy amount of time before getting to the topic, because we would just, chit chat and talk about what's going on. Exactly.
Like a morning show.
And then, like 15 minutes in is when we'd really get to the meat and potatoes of it.
Yeah.
But, we recorded a mock version of this episode.
We recorded a bitch session of this episode.
Yeah, we did a...
We did a mic test that turned into
a pay-per-view,
a full-length episode.
If you guys want that version...
Send us money.
Exactly. So for the first time in 5 years...
5 years.
5 years.
5 years.
This Downtown Andy...
This one.
Am a free agent.
Born free, band free.
I have not been bandless in 5 years.
I mean, you have me and the dog.
But this isn't a band.
It's a band of merry pranksters, as Ken Casey would say.
So, for a quick history lesson,
yes,
I started playing in bands in 2002.
I graduated from high school in 2002.
And it was just kind of on off with friends here and there, not really serious until about 2004.
Okay.
And that's when I really started to get into it, in high school. And from 2006 to 2009, it was just me. Okay.
Just you.
Just acoustic coffee house gigs, solo record, solo records.
Downtown Andy doing his downtown thing.
Well, it wasn't Downtown Andy back then.
What were you?
They can look that up.
If I don't even know, how can they find it?
Then
where can I find
2009
to
2017.
Ooh, that's a pretty good stint.
Non-stop.
That's a pretty good stint.
Group to group to group to group to group. In my lifetime, I've been in 20 to 30 different bands.
Wow. Like like truly, like not just a bunch of people playing.
No, like actively booking
shows and shit.
Actively booking shows, seeking shows out, doing recordings, touring, traveling, selling.
Now just a sidebar. If that appeared on somebody's resume, it would say to me they have a commitment issue.
I could see that. However,
a lot of bands.
I'm also a multi-instrumentalist because very, very early on, I realized that if I take up a variety of instruments or if I secure the kind of gear that most people don't stock, I'm a commodity. When we were doing gigs at our local teen center, the PA they had there was shit. Nobody knew how to use it, so... And nobody else had one. Right. So I said, I'm going to go mow lawns for a summer, and I'm going to buy my own. That's exactly what I did.
Yep.
And I became the sound guy. So
the sound guy.
At so many shows that I wasn't playing, I was being hired to run the PA.
Were you getting paid?
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Not much.
Downtown sound guy.
But,
sound guy Andy.
It's like to be able to see a free show and get paid.
Sure.
And hang out with,
Yeah.
It was again, I was trying to network at that point. And again, being a multi-instrumentalist, I always wanted to lend my talents to the people, because the thing is that even to this day, there are certain musicians that are impossible to come by, or at least, like drummers are always the hardest. Finding a good drummer, finding a drummer in a lot of places is very, very difficult.
I have a question about that, because I've noticed that is a truth. Is it because drums are so expensive? Do you think people discount the idea of learning to play drums because one, they're expensive, and two, they take up a lot of room?
No, because drums, like everything else, the better quality stuff is what's more expensive. You can get a drum kit for $100.
I wanted a drum kit when I was in high school, like middle school or high school, and I think that terrified my parents.
So real quick, 2017 to 2021, okay. I did filling gigs for friends, favors and whatnot. And then 21 until this past week, I was back at it. And again, free agent.
Free as a bird.
So anyway.
There's still a ring on it, though.
No, I was talking about the the PA stuff. Oh, being a multi-instrumentalist. Yeah. So did a lot of favors. Plus I wanted to learn all, different instruments anyway. And I wanted to be the guy that, if my friend's band, as evidenced by my history, that if a friend's band or group is looking for that missing piece, it's like, fuck it, I'll do it, sure.
Yeah.
Anything to stay busy, to stay active, because look around the room, I love music.
Well, and you have a bad track record with sitting still for long periods of time.
And yeah. So very, very seldomly am I not doing anything music related.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I am now at a point where, despite the fact that I can be in a band, I don't even really want to. I
shrug.
I've had plenty of good experiences since, over the last 24 years. I've had a lot of really shitty ones.
Yeah. It's what happens when you get creative people in a room together. That's why I work alone.
It's not even that. It's the fact that, when you're trying to mold together 5 personalities, 5 schedules, 5, creative fucking, minds, like it's especially as we get older, it's a lot more difficult.
Yeah.
You and I have talked before about, getting older and having friends and versus not having friends and working with people, like you just said, but I just made my exit from Tax Collectors and Harlots. And a little over a year ago, I made my exit from The Strangers.
Yeah.
And
God, was that only last year?
It was January.
That's wild that it was only a year ago. Huh. And I was there.
And the thing is, I'd played with the guys in The Strangers in Two-Fisted Law for a long time. And then, left both bands when Henry was born and then came back after Jim died. And so I was still in The Strangers when Tax Collectors needed a bass player. And they came to me and just like, do you know anybody? And I said, fuck it, I'll do it.
Now, when I have to say, as your wife, when that happened, I was completely unaware of the fact that you had any experience of this band before that very moment. I did not know that the band had existed before then, and or that you were familiar with their music. Like when you tell me that you were at Cherry Street and you sound checked with one of their songs, I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, as your wife, it shook me because I'm like, I literally did not know that you had any experience of this band whatsoever. So when you were like, hey, I'm playing bass in a band now, I'm just like, cool.
It's funny because you were here when Nick came to sell me his cabinet.
I was here, yes.
He thought that he wasn't going to be playing in bands anymore.
I remember that. I didn't think that had anything to do with it, because but I do remember that day.
Throughout the time,
the table was over there.
That I wasn't playing. He was in a couple of different bands at the time, doing. I don't know if I think they were doing mostly originals, but like again, he had his setup and everything. But then when all that stopped, he's just like, I don't think I'm gonna be playing. I'm like, you can't say that to me, dude. You know you're gonna miss it or want to get back into it at some point. Don't sell off your stuff.
Yeah.
Like I'll just fucking hold on to it for you. Like I think he wanted like $350 or $375 for that cabinet. Yeah. I gave him $400.
Well, you've been out of this band for 10 days.
Yeah.
10 days now.
Yeah.
And you've already sold 2 basses.
And an amp.
And
a pedal.
Yeah. But those are not specifically bass accoutrement.
Yeah, but see, I'm good at selling stuff.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's you could sell fish to you could sell water to a fish, because you're just charming. But you have already sold 2 basses.
2 basses that I specifically bought for Tax Collector.
Yes.
Because Nick is the one who I'll never forget. You and I were laying in bed on a Saturday afternoon. He starts texting me, and I literally said what I said before.
Those episodes have blurred together.
I will just I'll do it. Not even, I don't remember if I said I'll do it until you find somebody, but I probably did. But I was just like, this is my, Tax Collectors. I remember when he was posting like the teasers of them getting together and getting stuff started. I'm like, ooh, there's guitarmonies in there.
Excuse me.
Guitarmonies.
I like a good guitarmony.
Everybody does.
Yeah.
And at that point, I'm like, I will get to play with old friends that I grew up with. And, they had some catchy stuff because Strangers had played with them. We did we did 2 Cherry Street shows. And I can't remember if we did it, but again, like after having seen them, I'm like, it looked like fun at the time.
So it was definitely shows that I was not at.
No.
Because I'm like, I had no idea about this until you played it for me.
Because I knew James and I knew Nick.
Right.
I didn't know Scott. I knew of Scott, and I didn't know Steve, who was playing bass for them at the time.
Steve
is the singer in James.
It's always trouble when a Steve gets involved.
And so I remember sitting there watching them, and I'm like, this really looks... And it was good. I remember thinking it was good to see him up on stage again.
Nick?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because he didn't play music for a long time either.
Okay.
So that's a whole another story for a different day.
But yeah, I had no idea that you had any idea about this group. I thought it was similar to your story about joining Two Fisted Law, where they said, "Hey, be in this band," and then you learned everything.
That's not how it was at all.
I did not know that. I learned something about you.
I had to talk. Well, Tom knew how good I was. Okay, and
he
was my sounding board to Jim.
I'm saying that in similar to the way that once they said okay, and you learned their albums back to front
because I wanted to impress them.
Right.
Yeah.
I thought that's a similar situation that went down with Tax Collectors.
Do I keep this timer open?
You just keep
touching
it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just keep touching it.
Touch.
That's how it works.
So, and I was really excited about playing in 2 bands at the same time, because as all this unfolded, the gears are turning, and I'm just like, I'm gonna push them to do double bills.
You did a lot of them.
I did
in the beginning.
I did a full year where we did quite a few double bills. Well, okay, so for a full year, I was in both Strangers and Tax Collectors.
Yeah.
And boy, was that a fucking headache.
I'm your wife. I can agree.
Because Strangers had been practicing on Thursdays.
Right.
I know this for a fact. And
I'm not arguing.
Thanks to somebody's schedule, got moved to Tuesdays. Tax Collectors practice Tuesdays. Neither one were willing to reschedule.
So you do every other Tuesday.
Yeah, so each band, so one Tuesday it's with one band, the other Tuesday it's with another band. Is what it is.
Are we just doing a history lesson now? Or,
No,
I mean, what do you want to talk about?
This is the preface. We're talking about.
This is the preface?
That was the preface.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm in this band now for 2.5 years. And 2.5 years.
Oh,
it's been 2.5 years.
Yeah.
And the bottom line is my reasons for walking away are exactly the same, almost mirroring my reasons for walking away from the Strangers.
The core of them.
The core of them.
Yes. Yeah. Not the circumstances per se, but the core of it, absolutely.
Because there's really, like, I don't want to be mean.
Don't be. It's against the rules.
I know. But the truth is mean. And the truth is that all of these guys, not all, but most, in both bands, were not willing to commit to the same degree or level as they let on or that I expected them to.
Now, okay, with regard to the latter of that, you are kind of a perfectionist.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now it is, and again, as your wife, it can be difficult to live up to the standards you set, but you do set a very high bar, particularly when it comes to your music, because you are so committed to doing the best job possible.
I am not just a musician. I am a performer. I thrive on the stage. I thrive, whether it's music, acting, whatever it is.
I falled in love with you because of your performance.
The English major says falled.
I falled.
See, now if we weren't married, you'd look at me and be like, prick.
I might be thinking it. You never know.
Listen, I didn't want to leave, just like I didn't want to leave the Strangers, just like I didn't want to leave Two-Fisted Law. But ultimately, it stopped being fun. It stopped making my effort. It became so frustrating that I couldn't allow myself to continue subjecting myself to these problems that were not getting rectified.
You did, and again, not to talk out of turn or anything, but from my side of it, as your wife, as the person that you bring this shit home to, all right? It got to be a chore to see you so frustrated because and it came to the point where it's like, I'm your wife, I love you 100% and I back your play no matter what. But I wanted you to quit very badly because it was obvious that you were more frustrated by things that were going wrong than you were pleased by spending time with these people and performing your art. It outweighed each other at that point. And it's just like, please, it's like, for your own sake, just do it. It's one of those, it's exactly like telling someone they're not going to change, just break it off. It's the same thing as going through a breakup. You have said the best way to take a Band-Aid off is to rip it off. And you were pulling that Band-Aid off one hair at a time for almost a year.
I stuck it out.
You did
I
stick
really
it out.
stuck it out.
You stuck it out and you were so hopeful. And it was precious to a point. Because you really wanted it to work.
With the exception of Scott, I have known these guys for 20 plus years. Okay. Scott is the only one I met at the start of this band.
Yeah.
And as a friend, love him to death.
Scott?
Yeah.
Okay.
As a friend.
Okay.
But when it comes to what he brings to the group, you know, it's not like I bottled this all up.
No.
You know, I voiced my concerns several times, whether they want to admit it or not, because I remember the dates and I have receipts.
You got the receipts?
Oh, I have receipts. Just like I have receipts about what transpired in the last week.
Oh, man.
But
I don't think it's necessary to stew. I understand that it's instinctual.
I knew that if I didn't speak up, I would have lashed out. So in the politest way possible, I brought my concerns to their attention.
Yes.
And they were dismissed.
Yes.
Same thing in The Strangers. Brought my concerns to their attention, dismissed. And in the same vein, things that I wanted to do, plans I wanted to make, or things that I didn't want to do, dismissed. Outvoted. Almost as if I don't hold enough experience or...
Well, that's shenanigans. That's baloney.
Now, mind you, in the 4+ years that I was in Two-Fisted Law, we traveled everywhere.
Yes.
All over this country.
Yes.
We played sold-out shows. We opened for big bands.
Well, the Strangers knew that because they were all in it with you.
Right.
Yeah.
And those were all learning experiences for me because I took that and I used it going forward with everything that I did. So, you know, I always liked the fact that Two-Fisted Law never said no to anything. Never said no, you know, like unless it was absolutely out of the question,
right?
You know, for one reason or another. But we took on. I went through the list in the first, I think, 2 years. We did like 140 shows.
Nice. That's wild.
It was great.
Yeah.
It was nerve-wracking. It was exhausting.
That's what it's supposed to be.
But I had never experienced anything like that until that point. And I didn't want to trade it for anything.
Now, did you have the headaches, though, that you had?
No, not the same. Not the same. You know, I had grievances, sure. But not like I've had post Two-Fisted Law.
Yeah.
Because I accepted it for what it was. I am a new member entering an established band that's been around for over a decade at this point.
Yeah. And
I am to play what they've written, what their fans come to expect, you know. And when it comes to writing the new stuff, you know, it's like I incorporate where asked for it.
Right.
You know, but we were dealt some pretty hefty blows in the sense that, you know, Jim wanted to leave to go do wrestling full time. And I remember being bummed, but I couldn't be mad at him. That's what his passion was. You know, we didn't stop being friends because of it, but everybody else was pretty like mad at him for it.
Yeah.
Because he had some big shoes to fill. It's my chair.
One of us is on a squeaky spot. Yeah. Okay, so bring it back around. You were polite about leaving the band. You were not.
I was not. No, I wasn't polite about leaving the band.
You weren't polite about it?
I was polite about addressing my grievances because I didn't want to. No, you weren't there for that.
Okay.
I didn't want to insult them. I didn't want them to feel bad. I didn't want them to think I was personally attacking them. But there was really no other way of going about it because the things that bothered me were so blatantly obvious.
But when you told me that you brought your grievances to their attention, it didn't sound polite from my perspective. Was that just you venting?
Probably.
Okay. Because it definitely didn't sound polite.
We played Bleachers in Bristol in May and September of 2025.
Yeah.
I can't remember which one it was. It had to be one or the other.
Right. Okay?
But I remember going to the guys after the set and I said, Scott, you were off key, and James, you slowed down.
Yeah.
We need to get a lot tighter than that.
And I mean, best case scenario, this happened in September. So that's 7 months ago.
No. Best case scenario, it happened in May because September was post Rat's Nest. Rat's Nest is where I started to check out.
Well, Rat's Nest
was August.
Rat's Nest was August, and you told me again that you really lost your shit.
I did. I lost my shit the week of Rat's Nest because we had a rehearsal the Tuesday before we left.
Right.
And we had picked a bunch of covers to fill the set times with.
Okay.
Because we didn't have enough. We didn't want to play the same originals day after day because we had 4 sets that weekend. So We learned some covers, or we tried to learn some covers.
Mm-hmm. Now, you had played covers at the MS benefit before that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We used to throw covers into certain sets. But what I didn't realize until joining this band was how vehemently against playing covers that some of the guys in the band were.
Which I can't comprehend.
Because their interpretation is playing a cover or two covers or however many covers gives people the perception that you're a cover band.
Well, then shouldn't they have had a big problem basically taking a Two-Fisted Law song and turning it into a song of their own?
You mean the song that I wrote?
Yes. Like, shouldn't that have been a problem? Shouldn't someone have stood up and said, you know what? This is someone else's song. We shouldn't be playing this. I'm just saying because I'm a dick. Okay?
You're not supposed to be a dick.
But so you blew up.
I blew up because we're supposed to leave in 2 days.
Right.
Okay? Or a day. Well, I don't remember when we had it up.
Well, your first episode
Thursday
was on
morning.
Thursday.
Yeah, Thursday morning. So we had it up Thursday. So 2 days we're supposed to leave. And not only are we not nailing the covers that we picked, but we're not even nailing the covers that they picked.
How were you doing with the originals?
The same as we always have. You know,
off key and off tempo?
It depended on the day. It depended on the venue.
That's terrible.
It got to the point where we're 2 days in. So we've done our sets Thursday and Friday. And after Friday, I said, that's it. No more covers. That's how bad it was.
Really?
That's how upset I was that Scott forgot lyrics, that James slowed down, that Nick couldn't figure out how to work his rig, which was another, ever-present problem. Now, granted, I can't say I'm perfect in all this.
Mm-hmm.
I had equipment malfunctions.
Mm-hmm.
I flubbed shit here and there.
Sure.
But again, anybody who knows me knows that my main concern is putting on the best show possible for the people who pay to come see it.
Mm.
If people are going to pay money to see what we do, we damn well better be giving them their money's worth.
Well, I think so, as someone who has been in the audience and has been made to pay to see you play.
When we had to play these $20 and $30 ticket shows at Dead Language,
Lord,
I wouldn't even pay that much to see us.
No, I wouldn't. I love you. I wouldn't pay that much to see you. Not with this
Never
band.
mind the fact
Not with this band.
that this show had to be fucking moved because of low ticket sales. Look, I didn't want this to become
it's not
another.
We do not intend bitch sesh. All right, but what I have
just said was not only brought to the band's attention on more than one occasion, it was talked about amongst members on every ride to and from practice, every ride to and from shows.
Well, every
gathering outside of band-related activities, and things were agreed upon.
Yeah, that's just it. Not to throw anyone under the bus, but I don't have anything to lose. The fact is that you told me that everybody agrees with you, not in front of each other.
Of course not.
When these fellas are outside of the ensemble, they have the same grievances, but brought to the table, they pussyfoot around it and they keep their mouths shut.
Because one of those Bleacher shows, somebody took videos and we couldn't put them up because you couldn't watch them without cringing. Just like when we played Toads for the first time and I couldn't watch those videos without cringing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've been in the audience many times where I have just sort of, it's like nails on a chalkboard for a very brief moment. It's just sort of like, that was wrong.
Now, it got to the point where I couldn't let the friendship supersede everything else because my concerns are not being validated.
Right.
They're being dismissed. They're being ignored.
I asked you many times. I said, why don't you just leave? And you said, they're my friends and I enjoy playing with them.
I did.
But
you know what I got tired of? I got tired of being embarrassed on stage.
Well,
because 2 Saturdays ago when we played Cherry Street, it was no different.
That was a terrible show.
I was embarrassed. Yeah. I was absolutely embarrassed.
That was a lousy show.
Granted, crowds that come to see us may not feel the same way I do. They may think, oh, it was a great performance. It was a great show. They had fun, whatever. They don't notice the same things that I do.
Well, one fella concussed himself before your set, so he was having a blast.
But, you know, what made this decision easy for me, where it was difficult leading up to it, because this was an 8-month-long internal battle of mine, was the fact that a week and a half before it took place, they decided to take a show that I did not want to do. And they went and did it without me.
And they decided via text to tell you that they had decided to just take it anyway.
And tell me to skip practice.
Yeah, and told you, you know, we're going to do it without you. You don't have to come to practice. Yeah. To which you replied,
I think it's time you start looking for another bass player.
Quote, unquote. Nothing about anyone's a douchebag. Fuck you. Fuck this.
Nope.
Nothing. Just, I think you guys should start looking for another bassist. Not, I'm gone. Fuck all of you. Nothing of the sort.
Now,
And this was the day after that show.
I don't want to be the day after Cherry Street.
This was the day after that bad show.
I don't want to be the I told you so person. But I kept my eyes out. The guy who supposedly put the show together.
The show that you didn't want to do. The show that you told them is going to be a bad idea.
It's going to be a dud.
It's going to be a dud. Okay?
The guy who put it together did not share any sort of post about it.
And from the sounds of it, no one outside of your band knows who this person is.
The venue didn't even share it.
Nope.
The headliner drops off 2 days before. The other band shared the flyer one time, and in their stories, nothing.
Yeah.
The only thing they posted were videos from their show the next day at a different venue. And when Tax Collectors and Harlots, each individual member, the band's story and everything, when they started sharing stuff, they conveniently shared a picture of themselves in an empty room.
In an empty room.
They shared videos where the camera conveniently cropped to just them on stage, and one shot of 8 people standing by the bar, which very well could have just been them and the other band. Because here's the thing. There were so many times where they said no to things that I wanted to do, that I thought would be good for us.
Because it didn't make sense.
It wasn't convenient for them. Or somebody had work, somebody's other band had a prior commitment. Because
somebody's significant other had a prior commitment.
And so, based on the fact that I've played this venue many, many times before with different bands, the fact that it's a 2 to 3 hour drive, okay? Parking is a nightmare. It's a pain in the ass to go up and down the stairs with gear. And the biggest part of all is that nobody goes. Now, I'd heard stories about the L&G. The L&G was up the street.
Right.
And in its heyday, it was a big deal.
Right.
But this place, for every time I've been there, I can count on maybe 2 hands the amount of people that go to see the show.
It's unfortunate, but it's true. And I've known plenty of musicians who say, I don't care if I play to an empty room so long as we put on a good show. Now, I don't think that's true. I'm not a musician, but I don't think it's true.
No.
I think everybody wants a crowd. Everybody wants people to be there. And I, as your wife of the last 4 years, have seen you play to rooms where the only other people there are the bands and the staff. And, you know, you do your best.
I am hurt. I am angry. I am deflated.
I think all rightfully so.
Because this is the hill they chose to die on.
Yeah.
This is the hill they chose to sully the friendship on.
Yeah.
Because it's not like I haven't done things for them. I've done a lot, whether they want to admit it or not. Individually and collectively.
Yeah.
And this is how
excuse me,
my kindness gets repaid.
I would have liked to have believed, just judging from my experience of these particular gentlemen, I would like to have believed that there was a compartmentalization between the band and the friendships. And apparently, I am let down because that is completely not what happened. Like, literally, you said, I think the band I need to get away from the band. And they took that as, you dumped us, fuck you. Like,
you'd have to ask them.
Well, that's what it certainly seems like to me.
They're all very short with me now, because I've been telling people this exact same story. And again, just like when I left the Strangers, you know, Kyle said that I was telling half truths. I wasn't telling half truths. I have receipts for that too.
I like that you come with receipts.
Of course. Because you said in one of our previous episodes that it would be nice if we didn't have to take notes like we were in court or something like that. And it would be nice, but you know what? People like to make shit up. And I don't.
I don't pretend. I mean, for me, you know, I mean, all I can speak of, because I've never left a band, all I can speak of is breakups. Because that's what this was. It was a breakup. Okay? However you want to look at it, is that the fact of the matter is that you cannot stop anyone from saying something about you. And you have had that experience when it comes to relationships, personal relationships. And you have to get yourself to a point, in my experience, you have to get yourself to a point where it doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't matter if somebody says something wrong about you or something bad about you. Because the fact of the matter is that, one, if that person is going to do that, then they're the asshole here. Okay? And two, if someone is going to take that as gospel, then they're also an asshole. That's a fucking fact. Like, I know when it comes to, you know, relationships ending or friendships ending or anything, you know, petering out or anything, even if it's not just, you know, like a cut and dry kind of thing. I know what the truth is because I was there. And if somebody wants to talk out of school, then karma will get them. It's water off a duck's back to me. I don't give a shit if somebody says, you know, she's a bitch, she's a liar, she cheated on me, because they're all lies and I know it. And I don't need to come with the receipts because I know the truth. And the people who are on my side, truly, true blue, will back me up. See, and if they don't, then they're just another drop in the bucket of assholery. In my humble opinion.
Didn't think that I should have to know better. But the truth is that I've played with all of them previously.
Yeah.
Okay? 20 years ago, Nick did the exact same thing. I left his band 20 years ago that he asked me to play bass in, just like with this one, because I had just finished my solo record and he was getting his new, you know, metalcore project off the ground. And he introduced me to, you know, the audio guy, the guy with the studio, okay? And I went to his guy to record. And Nick had been there for a lot of the sessions. He helped me with recording. He played guitar and he sang and this and the other thing. And so as soon as that wrapped, I came in to play bass for his new band. And when I knew clearly that they had zero interest in playing any of the stuff I had just recorded or written or, you know, that I wanted to do, I said, I'm going to go get my stuff. I'm going to go delete my tracks and I'm going to wash my hands of the whole business. Because I would have liked to think that he had, you know, a little bit of respect for me as a friend and as an artist. And the reality is it didn't mesh. The stuff he was doing and the stuff were not the same.
Which is fine.
You know, but I bring up this story because he didn't want to do my stuff 20 years ago. Yet within the last 2.5 years, he and even Rhodey had been toying with the idea of bringing my most, you know, poppiest song from that album into Tax Collectors. and they'd play it at practice, and they'd fool around with it and this, that, and like, oh, we gotta rework this. It's like, oh, now you want to do it.
Mm.
That's kind of shitty. James had played, we were trying to recruit him for drums for one of Rhodey and my old band.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't work out because he and Justin were always clashing about, whatever. And Rhodey, I've been in 4 bands total.
Yeah.
With. And while I admire his improvement as a musician in the time that I've known him,
which is not condescension.
No, not at all.
Not
I have sung his praises for years now because I've watched my friend grow. I've watched my friend improve. I've watched my friend blossom into the person he is now, and with the personality and the successes that he's had and everything. And I've watched as he's turned his back on me. Because that's what it feels like.
I would like to believe.
Real quick.
Okay.
He wouldn't be in The Strangers or Tax Collectors if not for me.
This is true.
Because he was bandless until I approached him. Now,
I don't remember what I was going to say. That's fine. We can move on. New season, same bad memory. It's been a week and a half. Mm-hmm. Okay. It's been a few days since the dud show. Okay. The reason why, I don't know. Again, from an outsider's perspective, the same idea is it's just sort of like, it's like
a breakup.
It's a breakup is what it is. But like from an outsider's perspective, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make...
What doesn't make sense?
The conflagration, that's not right. The conflation. Conflagration is a fire. The conflation of if you're leaving the band, we're not friends anymore.
Listen,
like I'm from an outsider's perspective, that does not make sense.
You and I discussed this in a previous episode because I've told you off air several times that I've had the foresight when it comes to this sort of thing because I've had falling outs with Rhodey and Nick before, and James. I've had falling outs with the guys in The Strange. I've had falling outs with I've had falling outs with Justin.
Yeah.
And time passes. And years go by, and people pass, and then we usually end up reconnecting and being like, "What were we mad about?" Or laughing about stupid shit. And I'd like to think that we'll get back there at some point, but right now I need a long, cold winter to be mad at them because
that's fine.
It's. I told you when we did the episode about censorship.
Yeah.
That this would pass and that being mad about, what went on in The Strangers, I would, let go and forget about. And I haven't let it go, but I don't dwell on it every day.
I haven't let it go either.
We will get to a point where I don't dwell on this every day, and I will do other things. I'll join other bands. I will do my own music. I will record at home. I'll make TikToks. I may do nothing. Mm-hmm. But I'm free to make that choice now because I'm not beholden to anybody. I have you're my wife. And no, you're not Yoko Ono. This was not, you had nothing to do with this.
Thank you. Not that I think that anyone believes that, but it's like you have left 2 bands since you and I have gotten together.
Both at Cherry Street.
It's not me.
No.
I back you because I am witness more than anyone else about what these situations do to your peace of mind and your mental well-being. And when you cannot pull yourself out of the muck and the mire of the grievances that you have and everything, and then seeing people dismiss you, seeing them not demean you, but just disavow your beliefs and your core ideals and stuff like that, and your ideas that you're trying to bring to them and everything. It's just like, that makes me want to roll up my sleeves and hit somebody. So instead, I say, listen, leave.
See, I've had a lot of heart-to-hearts over the years with Nick and Rhodey.
Yeah.
And now Scott.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'd like to think that to some degree I've tried to bring them out of their funks and their insecurities and their problems and uplift them to some... I mean, I know I can be a prick. I know I can be full of myself. But I'd like to see them succeed. I'd like to see them flourish. I would like to get back to a point where we don't have any sort of animosity.
Sure.
Okay? Like I said, this will pass. But you know how people, you see memes and things on the internet about like, oh, you don't know what this person's struggles are, what they're going through. You should have some more compassion.
Mm-hmm.
I started thinking the other day about... You enjoying that off button?
I like having that cough button.
Did you notice our new microphones?
I have to remember that it's there. Mine's an old microphone.
Well, they're both old, but anyway. But I started thinking about how they really have no idea what it's like to be me. They really have no idea the struggles or the trials that I go through, because unlike them, I'm a husband,
mm-hmm.
I'm a parent,
mm-hmm.
and I have suffered the kinds of losses that they have yet to know about.
Mm-hmm.
I've lost both of my parents.
Mm-hmm.
I've lost my brother to suicide.
Mm-hmm.
I lost Jim. I've lost several other friends. So they've never known what it's like to lose parents, siblings, or bandmates, but I've done all of that.
Yes.
And I live with that.
Mm-hmm.
And I still try to be the best version of myself for you, for them, for my kids, for everybody.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, in spite of what I deal with on a regular basis, I mean, you see how I get when I talk about work. The last thing I want to do is have to go and meet up with my friends to do something we're all supposed to enjoy and get frustrated about it.
Yeah.
And get frustrated that not everyone is doing their part to the best of their ability.
Mm-hmm.
Or that, they think that their best is good enough and it's,
Do not get me wrong. Do not get me wrong. I do not believe that any of them are poor artists or poor performers.
But they have, as you pointed out, done things in poor taste.
Yes. I believe that, they... In the last 4 years, I have seen you play with a lot of musicians who are remarkably and, dare I say, unconscionably unbending in their ideas of what makes this music this music. And it's that intolerance that is like it's like a tack in my pocket, and it's just poking at me a little bit every time I listen to it, because it's extremely alienating. And I think that if that's what you're going for, cool, but there's a dissonance. There's a gap between what they are purporting to create and what they're putting out. And it is difficult to watch you on that end of it, because I know that you're not like that. You are not the intolerant, sort of like you're hard-headed, but you're not that intolerant, hard-headed, impenetrable wall of no nonsense kind of a thing. And I don't know that any of that made sense, but my guts tell me that this is a good breakup.
It was incredibly difficult for me to perform the song Martyrs of the Second Amendment.
Yeah.
Because it's about the Sandy Hook shooting.
Yeah.
And unlike every single one of them, I am the only person in that band to have attended that school.
When someone is going to... I understand, okay? From an artist's perspective, I understand what they were going for. This sort of like twisting the knife into, to get their point across and everything, but it was really tasteless. It's the same thing that when people say, oh, this person is using this tragedy to make a name for themselves and everything, it's like, so are you.
I couldn't wait to get it out of the set list.
It was a terrible song.
And matters were not made better when this newest song, Modern Day Outlaw, was written, because I was listening to Scott sing it, and I specifically asked him, please, do not write a song for us about Luigi Mangione. And he did it anyway. And in doing so, despite my feelings about it, showed me what he thought of my opinion. Because I don't want to make a name or represent those kinds of ideals.
Yeah.
Especially when you're saying things like, that bastard had to go.
Yeah. It's tacky, to say the very least. To say the very least, it's tacky. I want to broaden this a little bit, okay? Because, again, you and I did our little mic check episode where we really let our feelings out about this.
Oh yeah,
I want to broaden this a little bit
hostile.
for the yes, we did get hostile. Because some people say Dear Diary, but we do it this way. I want to broaden this a little bit to encompass this idea, because breakups like this have a tendency to be very polarizing. All right. Now you were an ensemble of 5 individual human persons with your individual peripheral relationships with other people, friends of the band, associates, other bands you've played with, family members, etc., etc. This is the time when everyone picks a side. Okay? And they pick their side based on what they know, quote unquote. It's what they're told. And everyone has a different way of telling the same story. That's the way breakups work. Everyone has a different way of telling the same story. And every story needs a villain. If you, are made out because 80% of this breakup decides that you were wrong and ergo you are the villain of this story, then it is the responsibility of everyone on that periphery to understand that they either know you well enough to know that that can't be the whole story or not. It starts to go outwards, like
I'm not twirling my mustache like a villain. I'm just getting it out of my mouth.
Like a blast radius, right?
Yeah.
Like dropping an atomic bomb. The band broke up, right? And now you're in the radiation zone where the mutants are happening and stuff like that.
Well, the band didn't break up, you know.
No, the band, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. The band didn't break up. You broke up with the band. Yeah. Okay?
I walked away.
You walked away. And it is now, as people, because they've made no announcement about this. This will be the announcement that you are no longer a part of Tax Collectors in Heartland.
Unless between now and when this airs, some announcement is made. Yeah.
Whatever.
Because I've made no post on any of my socials.
No, and they made no comment whatsoever about the fact that only 4 of them were there on Saturday. No one's talking about that. But they don't have to. Who cares? But now you're on the outskirts of this blast where, again, the people are sort of muddying themselves with, well, I heard this, I heard this, I heard this, I heard this. And this is where it really comes down to, I think, the politics of breaking up are involved. Because we've all been through this situation. We've all wanted to save face and save our names and stuff like that from the muck. But situations like this, I feel when you are actively hurt and hurting, I think that is when you need to sort of stifle yourself a little bit, because you're going to lash out because of your hurt.
The old me would have been vile.
Yes.
The old me would have...
But we made a rule.
Yeah. would have said things that I can't take back.
Yes.
And for all I know, they may perceive this episode as something that can't be taken back, but you know what?
Well, once it's on the internet, it's gone, like boob pictures. There's no way to take that shit back.
But, they made a choice. They made their bed. They can sleep in it. They can find somebody else. They can replace me which way they want. James and I settled up. I got paid my share. Yeah. And
now you're getting all of your equipment back.
And I told him that I will forego the future sales of the shirt with my face on it, as long as they don't use my song.
Okay.
And he said okay, so
we'll see.
Yeah, we will see.
Because that will require it being taken off the EP.
We'll see.
We'll see. But I want to say, because this is not about me.
I didn't want it to come. I didn't want it to come to this.
No, I know that. But I think that realistically, it was unavoidable. Yeah. It was unavoidable because because when you hit your face against that wall for long enough, you have to realize that eventually it's not going to move.
Because again, Rat's Nest happened in August. Mm-hmm. We are now in April.
Yes.
Played plenty of shows between then and now. Mm-hmm. And there was talk about touring. There was talk about new recordings. There was talk about new writing. And
there was talk about touring?
I wanted a tour.
Yeah, but
I brought it to it was the same thing as when we went through the whole, are we going to play Rat's Nest or not because of the people that show up there? And I said, listen, I have the book. I have the time to put in for, I'm going to be away these weeks anyway. Let's do something. But that was just another instance of me realizing that my goals are not the same as theirs. Mm-hmm. And no matter how bad I may want something, I can't make them do anything.
No.
I can't change their minds.
No.
I couldn't change their mind about this show. I tried to implore them and appeal to their humanity.
Their humanity?
Yeah, their humanity. Because I reminded them of all the things that we've done together and things that I've done for them. Because I stuck my neck out. Like, we said this off air in one of our many conversations since this all went down, that I just lost my train of thought.
Let me ask you something. Hypothetically speaking.
Oh, now real quick.
Okay.
That I was the only one who, in my full solid year of being in two bands, put 100% into both. It was not that I favored one over the other.
It's true.
How many times, like you said, how many times did I double book because I just wanted to play? Mm-hmm. And I was trying to promote both because, both bands didn't encompass, like the same members weren't in, all the same members weren't in both bands. So it's like, I can't favor one over the other. I have to commit the same amount of time and energy so that way, it doesn't feel like I'm shortchanging one.
Let me ask you a question now. Hypothetically speaking, if this band had been a woman, okay? If this band had been a woman, would it have, and you had the same problems, right? The same degree of problems as far as compatibility went, would it be easier to walk away, you think?
Yes.
It would have been easier to walk away if it had been an actual relationship.
Because if it had been a relationship, I would have walked away a lot sooner, because I have. Because a good 90 to 95% of my relationships ended in the first couple of months because I said, this just isn't going to work. This just isn't going to work because we're not compatible.
And I think that is I think that's the unfortunate thing when it comes to something that you really want. Like, you wanted to be able to play music with your friends.
Yes.
You wanted to be able to play music with your friends, and you wanted to make 100% of a go out of it because you thought they did too.
But it's so hard to do with everything that we've talked about, including the fact that 3 of them are in 2 bands and their schedules conflict. And their priorities conflict.
Yeah.
And shows, there's no denying this because they've said it more than me, shows from the other bands were turned down and not offered to us.
Yeah. Which is weird. It's...
Like, I honestly think I'm the only one who would drop everything at a moment's notice to be like, yeah, let's go fucking play a show.
Yeah.
Except this one time. This one time. It's like the fucking Godfather. When did I ever refuse an accommodation? Except one time. This drug business is going to kill us.
It's true, though. It's true, though.
But seriously, and I said to Scott, I'm like, if I had been sick or if I had been... No, you know what? Because they did Rat's Nest when I had COVID. Now, granted, they had my blessing.
Yes. Not to mention the fact that that was a last-minute thing that you were like... Because you were ready to go.
Because I didn't want to be James from Jukebox.
You were also ready to go. And I was like, absolutely not. I put my foot down about that. I'm like, no. I'm like, you're going to get everybody else sick and you're just going to get worse. I'm like, stay the fuck home.
But if I had been, and he stopped answering me a long time ago. If I had been sick or if I had to take care of the kids or something, or if I had some other would they still have done it? Because the whole reasoning purported to me was, we're doing a favor to this guy. This guy that nobody's ever heard of, that doesn't promote shows, that has done nothing for us, that we're not signed to his label, or it's never even been on the table that that's a possibility.
But big things are coming. They're coming. We just have to wait it out just a little bit longer to find out what the fuck these things are.
And this is completely speculation on my part, or this is how they got rid of me. This was their means of getting rid of me. Now... they're all going to listen to this. I know Nick is, okay? Or maybe not. Maybe he's mad at me too and doesn't want to, he's done with this podcast. In that case, good riddance. But, that if that is the case, and because of the fact that they didn't tell me, that's even shittier.
Yes.
Because I would have much rather they said, listen, dude, if you're not feeling it, maybe you should train your replacement, which I happily would have obliged. Mm-hmm. I absolutely would have trained my replacement. I trained Rhodey because... the whole way that he got into the Strangers was they wanted to do a show that I couldn't do. Mm-hmm. And he just happened to be at the Cellar the night we were playing. And I said, listen, we got a show coming up I can't do. You haven't been in a band in a while. You want me to teach you the stuff and you can fill in for me? And then a week later, Kyle's just like, he's in now. The show didn't even happen. The show got canceled. Yeah. But now because I've taught him all of the stuff, he's just a member now.
Not that my opinion matters because, again, you are my horse in this race, okay? Period. Just like you were in the last one, but a little bit, I had a little bit more of an investment in the Strangers because I'd known them for years. Mm-hmm. And it hurts me. That's why I still dwell on it a little bit. Not daily, not like in the forefront of my mind, but it hurts to think that I lost friends. This does not feel like I lost friends because I don't believe that a single one of these human beings will ever reach out to me.
But that's what it feels like to me because if I open myself up to any sort of communication or any sort or to maintaining the friendships, who's to say they're not going to let me down again? Who's to say they're not going to take advantage of me again? Because not for nothing, I've done a lot for Rhodey.
Well, this is the bad breakup mentality.
I've done a lot for him.
You start to build that wall.
And
excuse me.
I don't want these friendships to be transactional. But after all I've done, not just for him, but for everybody, and you can't accommodate me this one time where it doesn't make sense to me to do this thing?
One time where it doesn't... I don't know what this favor was. I don't know what fucking favor this was. But this is you and I could both end up with egg on our face. And we could find out that this was the beginning of something gigantic and everything. But in the meantime, I can't help but be disappointed by these gentlemen. I can't help but be disappointed. And Nick, if you're listening to this, that means you too. I'm disappointed because they purported to be brothers. Brothers. And it's just like, where the fuck did that go? That makes me feel like an idiot because I would have backed them up. I would have backed them up. If you can bring me a solid argument for your perspective, I will back you up. But the fact of the matter is that not a one of them can do that. Not a one of them could tell you, their brother, why this was such a big deal that they had to do it without you.
Nick even said to me, when I said nobody asked for me to stay, nobody asked me to reconsider.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, you were on your way out, and when you said it was a hard no, we thought there was no changing your mind. It's like
so don't do the show. So don't do the show. Like, well, I don't understand that. Be mad at you for a little while because you didn't do the show.
If I stayed, who's to say this wouldn't happen again?
There's that too.
I was really pissed when I found out.
I mean, that's just it. Is that if they can do it once, there's no. And if they did manage to put on a great show without you, then why bother?
I saw the videos. They were nothing to write home about. I was so fucking pissed. It was years after the fact, but when I found out from Kyle that Two-Fisted Law shows happened after I joined without me,
yeah,
I was fucking pissed. Because it's not like I couldn't have done them. Like, yeah. I knew that, because I replaced Mike Terry.
Right.
Okay? He wanted to go back to doing Jukebox full-time. And so I knew that he had X amount of shows left. But I knew all the stuff. And it's just like, why the fuck didn't you just tell me? Like, I could have been ready.
All of these, I'm telling, my brain is just like, this is all, like, I've been here. I've been here. Because this is exactly what happens when you stay too long at the fair in a relationship. You can't help saying that, I wish I had known sooner. I wish I'd seen the signs. I wish I could have made up my mind and, this, that, and the other thing and everything. And it's always a letdown. And it's always going to hurt. But then you brush yourself off. You put on something slinky. You get a couple compliments and you move on. And I know that you will.
All of these better ordeals have made it so much less appealing to do live music because not for nothing, live music is going downhill.
Yeah.
Venues are closing.
Unfortunately.
Nick points out all the time that kids aren't starting bands like when we were young.
It's true.
Kids aren't learning instruments. Kids aren't getting together. The places that have built-in crowds, they want cover bands, and
mm-hmm.
There's a stigma behind that with original artists. And again, I've always been of the opinion there's no reason you can't do both. Two-Fisted Law did cover sets all the time. That didn't make us a cover band.
No.
We were hired to do cover sets. We got paid to do solid cover sets, but 90% of the time we're playing our originals everywhere we go and throwing in a cover two here or there, except at places like Cherry Street or
Snappers,
yeah. where they don't subscribe.
They don't
to
have the
ASCAP,
licenses.
So you can't,
yeah.
But the one thing with me that will never change is that no matter what group I'm playing with, no matter what instrument I'm playing, no matter what venue, no matter what time, no matter what age I am, I will not allow myself to put on a half-ass show.
No.
I won't, unless there's some unforeseen circumstance where I break a leg or get ill or whatever, or something befalls me, because I've played drunk before, I've played high before.
Well, in all fairness, you've played in a wheelchair before, too. You did that one time.
But I do none of those things now. And my main focus is on what I've always loved, and that is performing my craft for an audience and doing the best job possible. And if I fuck up, I own it. Yeah. I've always owned it. And I've always said, we need to go back to the fucking drawing board and we need to tighten it.
And that's why we have a new theme song. We didn't talk about the new theme song. We completely skipped over that.
All me.
It's all you.
It's all me.
Well,
just like
I was there.
You were.
I was there. I had input.
But it's just like the original.
Yeah. Only better.
And with a variety of instruments and gear that I've collected.
It's just like it used to be, only better. Just like it will. And I think that's the fortune cookie to take away from this whole situation, is that next time it'll be better.
Because not for nothing, I enjoy making, short form videos now. There were so many times, like, because Lance would always be like, come to open mic, just come, just show up. And there'd be so many times where I'd play along to the fight. Mm-hmm. Before I was in bands, the way I got started was taking that amp right there to the teen center and playing along to the fucking radio.
I know. And you can do that again.
And that's how I made connections, because people would come up to me and they'd want to play my guitar. They'd want to talk about music. That's how bonds were developed. Because that's when it was fun and new and interesting. And I love doing that. I love connecting with people on that level. It just seems that now I've got to search a little bit harder.
Maybe you'll build up that wall that we all build up after a breakup, and
I don't want to look at it like a breakup. I don't, because again, I've said this to Nick and Rhodey for months. I'm like, Kyle and I could be laughing about all our shit years from now. Like,
you might be.
We might be, because again, it's not, we didn't have a falling out, but like once Jim died, it was like, okay, well now we feel like I felt at least that we should be in each other's lives again.
I thought so too.
Because I didn't want him to die, or Rob or Tom or anything bad to happen to them, and to not have seen that. Like, it was bad enough that I hadn't seen Jim for as long as I did, and then he dies because nobody saw that coming. And I certainly don't want anything bad to happen to anybody in the Strangers. I don't want anything bad to happen to anybody in Tax Collectors.
You hear that?
I just want them to fucking grow up.
And that too. This was a good talk. I think we got a little bit more out than we expected to.
Look, I tried as best I could to do this without being nasty.
Same.
And I think deep down they know that, despite how insulted they may be when they hear this, but...
Listen, the fact of the matter is that the truth is what the truth is. And own it. Own it!
The reality is we've all known each other 20 plus years. Mm-hmm. So by now we should know how the other reacts to, whatever. Did they think I was going to react any differently?
I don't know. I wish I could say. My only concern is that you're good. Are you good?
When I get to a point, a week, a month from now, whenever it is, where I'm not dwelling on this every day, because again, I know me, okay? Mm-hmm. And just like when I left the Strangers, just like when Dad died, just when any other sort of like major life event comes along, I just need time. Just like with a breakup, because time really does heal all things.
It does.
I've always been mad about, so many things that hurt me. But again, after so much time has passed where I'm able to focus on other things, like right now, I focus on you, I focus on the dog, I focus on the kids,
Yeah.
I don't have to go anywhere on Tuesdays anymore.
Yay.
I'm
more
at a point in life now where I'm getting healthy, like I'm eating right.
Yeah.
I'm exercising, like I can pull any guitar off the wall anytime I want and just fucking noodle.
Good.
I can start writing stuff again. I've been writing stuff.
And shout.
I wrote stuff that I was contemplating bringing to them.
Yeah.
And now I'm not going to, because, part of me internally always believed that it wouldn't be as appreciated.
Well, now the good news is that you have a nice little reserve to pull from when you are in the mood to write your own shit. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I say again, this was a good talk. Did you have a good time?
Luton always be a good time.
I love you.
I love you.
Thank you. And we're gonna call it. We're running a little over our time right now, so we're gonna say farewell, adieu, and all of that. This was a good one, though. Welcome to all of our new listeners. Season 3 has begun, and it's going to be a good one. Stay tuned for more.
Listen, at the end of the day, there's people out there that are going to listen to this that know exactly how we feel and what we're talking about because they're going through it themselves.
Yes.
I've said this in so many of our mental well-being episodes because, again, there's other people out there that need, like, I know that I would want to listen to another podcast like this because it feels like somebody else understands me.
And that's what these talks are for. That's right. Thank you out there in podcast land for tuning in. We had a blast. Please find us on social media. We're on Instagram, DT Andy and JJ Star with 2 R's. You can also email us at dtandyandjjstar@gmail.com with questions, comments, concerns for our well-being. Conversation starters and enders. If you're new, then you don't know about that, but you can find that at the end of every single episode. Download Podbean.
Check out our new Facebook.
Yes.
Give it a like, give it a comment.
Give it a like, give it a follow. Please share, tell all your friends. We are currently in at least 101 countries, if not 102 at this point. Thank you worldwide. And but yes, download Podbean, give us a like and a follow, and that's how we make money. We appreciate you. This weekend.
No. Because when when this airs, it will have passed.
Yes.
Because you decided to take a week off.
No, the calendar decided there was a week between the end of season 2 and the beginning of season 3. So, that wasn't me. That was the calendar.
Next week, we'll tell you all about our time at the New England Tattoo Convention.
We certainly will. I'll show off my new eyebrows.
You can find Coat of Arms.
Shh. You can find Coat of Arms Tattoo on Instagram, and you will have found them at the New England Tattoo Expo. You can also find Love Heart Art on Instagram.
No longer need to find tax collectors and harlots.
No, you don't need to. I mean, you can if you really want to, but, you know, And, but yeah, Love Heart Art. We're getting ready because we're a few months away. We're going to be doing the Nashville Tattoo Expo, the Villain Arts Nashville Tattoo Expo, August 14th, 15th, and 16th, I want to say. That's Friday, that weekend. That's a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And we will be at the fairgrounds in Nashville, Tennessee.
14, 15, 16.
Nailed it. So
same weekend as Rat's Nest, so you see where we'd rather be.
We'll have cell signal also, and clean drinking water.
And no neo-Nazis.
And locks that work. So yes, come one, come all. Tell all your friends, anyone down below the Mason-Dixon line, please make the drive because we would love to see and meet you. And yeah. Do we have anything else going on right now? From the day when this airs, tomorrow is Earth Day. So go outside and pick up some trash. Okay.
You know,
we only have one Earth. Be nice to her.
There is a guy in town that I've been seeing going around picking up trash at all the intersections and all the sides and over by the train station. I mean,
that could be community service, to be perfectly honest.
He's not wearing a jumpsuit or anything.
He's not wearing a vest?
No, he's wearing a reflective vest.
Yeah, that's what they give you.
Yeah, but he's not being supervised by anybody.
They're usually not.
Oh. I like that he's doing it.
I like that he's doing it too, and my plan is to do it around this neighborhood.
By the way, probably you'll never hear this, but thank you to the police officer that let us go.
I was going to post something about that. Yes, we had a little emergency with the dog this weekend, and we got pulled over mere feet from the emergency vet. And you know, the cop said, you know, you guys were going a little fast, and we said we're actually going to the emergency vet, and he said, what's wrong with the dog? And we told him, and he said, just go. He said, go. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. He was a Newtown cop.
Yeah.
Thank you. And she is doing a little bit better. Yeah. So from the bottom of our hearts, thank you. And I think that's it for today. That's a lot. We did a lot today.
We're just gonna start giving them long episodes now.
They're just gonna keep coming. But that's that, and that's a wrap. Now we have the new intro and the new outro, and it's at a different tempo. So let's see if we can do this right, like we've done for the past 100 episodes. We'll see how good we can do this. Ready?
Yeah.
From the three of us at That Talking Podcast, I'm JJ Star,
and I'm Downtown Andy.
We'll talk to you later.